But either way, Fred Warner being out is a big, big deal for the rest of the season. No Bosa, no Fred Warner. It seems as if this defense is really going to struggle for the rest of the year. You can't stop the run as is, and now you're missing your two best players. Big, big deal. David, talk to me about what you think the outlook of the season is without Fred Warner.
Yeah, I think that at this point, guys, you're looking at a skeleton crew. Robert Saleh is probably getting himself a head coaching job somewhere in the NFL with the job he's done. But right now, opposite Nick Bosa, who is that? Michael Williams got his first sack today. Impressive, but he's still more of that interior presence. Linebacking crew, D. Winters is a little bit better in coverage, but still got lost. Tatum Bethune offers absolutely no shoes over the middle. You know, Luke Gifford, Nick Martin can't even see the field except he could take in the draft. It's hard to bear. I thought Renardo Green and Diamador Lenore did serviceably to the safety room of Marcus Siegel and Jair Brown. Guys, they just don't have the pieces, and lost in that as well. It's Fred Warner's job as a captain of this defense, calling out plays, getting people in there. Just like there's only so much Robert Saleh can do from the sideline to execute. It's going to be tough, and to see him on that recovery, we don't know what the ligament damage is. They're 4-2. We saw a lot from Mac today. It's impressive, but boy, oh boy, oh boy. It's going to be uphill sledding on defense.
Well, and one thing we got to talk about too, David, is this is a team that we thought might look to buy at the trade deadline. That makes no sense anymore. There's no point in buying anybody with Fred Warner out. You might be able to try to replace Bosa. You're certainly not replacing Fred Warner and Bosa. So that's where the issue is. This team is not going to be a Super Bowl caliber team without both of them. And you're certainly not trading for a replacement for both. So now you've got to keep your future assets in place.
Yes.
That's a big deal. So this team just is what it is for the rest of the season, in my opinion, and we'll see what happens.
Well, and I think that's the thing. I think it's very encouraging. I saw a lot of people firing off tweets about Trey Hendrickson's there. He's not playing because he's going to the Niners. Look, guys, this defense is depleted already. Trey Hendrickson's not going to change a whole lot. With Fred Warner out, it's a bigger loss, not than Nick, but you're just not going to get that replacement. I am very concerned about that. The four best players, the two best players of the team are gone in Nick Bosa and Fred Warner. Brock Purdy is out. George Kittle is out. Brandon Ayuk is still out, folks. We don't know when these guys are coming back. Trent Williams is getting dinged up. CMC has lost juice, no matter how many people do not want to admit it. This team has got to start looking at trying to be competitive this year as best they can with the guys that are in the building. You do not give up future assets. You do not.
Well, you think about it, right? So you've got Fred Warner, George Kittle, Brock Purdy. All three of them you paid this offseason. All three of them have been injured. It's a big deal, and you've got aging superstars on this team. You've got to worry about the future of it. But when you look at Trent Williams, you look at CMC, good chance that they're not on this team going forward after this year. Now you've got a Fred Warner injury. You don't know what he looks like coming back. You don't know what Ayuk looks like coming back. And George Kittle has been out. Purdy at this point, if you're watching Mac Jones and you think that this isn't close, you might want to get your head examined because, quite frankly, Purdy is not levels above Mac Jones. Is that now a waste of a contract? This is absolutely crazy this season, the way that it's played out. Mac Jones is better. So, listen, the 49ers, uphill battle. They got the Falcons next. That's going to be a tough game as well. You start to look at this season. Is it even feasible to guarantee the playoffs, which looked like it was a no-brainer just 1 week ago?
Yeah, and I just want to really caution people on not box score scouting this situation for Mac Jones. If I'm going to look at the box score, 8.9 yards a pass, 27 for 39 despite 4 drops, and the route run by Kendrick Bourne. Not a great throw. Took Juwan Jennings there on 4th down, but it looks like that was his progression. Tried to mix up and happen on 4th down. Guys, Chris McCaffrey, again, another game. Under 4 yards to carry, 3.2 yards to carry. Christian is a beast, an absolute monster. 7 catches for 57 yards. But they don't have the capacity or the juice in the backfield to make up for what's lost. Mac Jones, layered dots, darts to the boundary, quick operation, running it with precision. Did he make a couple mistakes? Sure. Does he have the pocket ability of Purdy? Absolutely not. Is he, though, Does he have feet of cement? No, he made some good plays. What I saw today, despite what the box score might say and the loss and the record, is Mac Jones played very, very, very well.
Well, let's talk about CMC for a second. One statement that I made throughout the course of that game is that Christian McCaffrey, if you replace him with Rachaad White, who, remember, Rachaad White for the Bucs is the backup running back. Bucky Irving is the guy there. You put Rachaad White in this offense, it looks exactly the same as it does with CMC. That's where CMC is at this stage in his career. He's 3 yards in a cloud of dust. That's exactly, by the way, what Rachaad White is. But Rachaad White's a good receiving back, just like CMC is. CMC is a volume shooter. He's J.R. Smith at this point. If you're looking at an NBA player, it is what it is. You know, and the future looks like it's going to be without him going forward, maybe even Trent Williams starting next year. And I don't know. I always looked at 2026 and beyond. I know we're talking about this game in particular, but 2026 and beyond was what I've been checking out for the 49ers. How do you keep things intact? If CMC, Trent Williams are not a part of this team, and now you got Fred Warner coming off of injury, Bosa coming off of injury, you play the AFC West next year, you play the NFC East, you start to look, when can this team be effective and competitive again? And you might have a quarterback controversy to boot. Again, I know I'm getting ahead of myself, but these are things that I take and that I look at. As far as this game goes, you had a Buccaneers team that was completely injured, missing their top 4 wide receivers after Ibuka went out. Bucky Irving was out. 3 offensive linemen at one point. One of your best defensive players. Another 2 defensive starters. Absolutely crazy. They're just as injured. And, it was close for a while, but the 49ers just are running out of horses at this point. It's tough. It's going to be tough to beat these teams.
Yeah, and I think one of the issues here is we're looking for, you talk about 2026 and beyond. I'm starting to look at 2027 and beyond. Brock Purdy, we don't know where he's at. He's not making the trip. George Kittle's not making the trip. Ricky Pearsall's not making the trip. We don't really know where these guys are at this point. I know Jesse talked about, could there be a quarterback controversy to boot? What you've seen, do not let your eyes deceive you. Jesse and I both said behind closed doors and on live shows that we didn't have a lot of high hopes for Mac. Made a convert out of me. He's running this offensive precision. And by the way, Mac Jones had the oblique injury, had the PCL injury. I actually thought he looked good today. A lot of his sacks were play action pass guys in his lap. Also, another big concern today, 6 penalties, 65 yards, 9 penalties for 65, 31 yards on 5 penalties for Tampa. You've got your leaders, Juwan Jennings, Trent Williams, making boneheaded plays when the going gets tough. You can't keep doing this. And I really fear that when these seasons start to go and we play Atlanta next week, and if that's a loss, I fear that the wheels could start coming off, and these leaders who are aging and starting to see the end of the tunnel start to realize that it's not 2026, it's 2027. And I just hope that the 49ers have the fortitude and the patience to not try to run it back despite all of the maladies that are facing them, because it'll be a fool's errand. I want this team to stay competitive with the guys they have in the building. It was fun as hell to watch these guys fight today, but you cannot be foolish. You cannot be. 31 other teams in the NFL. You have to be realistic.
Well, let's talk about some of the positives, right? Because they do have next week. Kittle should be back. Malik Mustafa just came back. Ricky Pearsall's chance to be back next week. And the Falcons are not world beaters. Yeah. All right, there we go. We just had a fan say, at least we lost this game and not the Rams.
True.
Listen, so that's the positive. The Falcons are not world beaters by any means. They get a win next week. All of a sudden, we're 4-2 right now.
Yes.
We could be 5-2 and still in the thick of things a little bit. Again, do I think this team's a Super Bowl team? No, I didn't think it was with Bosa and Fred Warner. But can they make the playoffs? Yes, it's just no longer a lock the way that it felt it once might have been. The Rams go out and get a win today against a very banged-up Ravens team. Yep. The Cardinals lose. Thank goodness. Seattle does win. So everybody's starting to keep pace with us. It's just going to be a tough season. But we got to give the 49ers credit too, right? Yep. This team continues to battle. Yep. And that's one thing I love about the 2025, 2026 49ers. No matter what's going on, no matter how many injuries they have, they continue to battle. They stick in these games. They give themselves a chance. and Max Jones is playing really, really good football. I don't know, man. I'm proud of this team. I'm proud of the coaching staff. But at some point, like I said, enough is enough. When you look at the Falcons, though, you talk about a team that doesn't have great quarterback play, very inconsistent across the board. I wouldn't be shocked if the 49ers get that win next week, David.
No, and I want to be very clear. I want this team to remain competitive throughout the end of the season. I believe in this team. I believe in what I saw, despite the cards being stacked against them, that they can be competitive. And the schedule is going to do them favors. There will be guys getting back healthy. The issue that I have is do not put all you cannot overspend. You cannot overspend on aging veterans that you think are going to put your thumb in the dam and make sure that everything is going to miraculously improve. This team can compete week to week. They're 4-2. They're in a good spot, but you got to deal with these guys getting back healthy and do it in house. I think the biggest concern for me is when we're watching this. Mac Jones has put 4 games together on tape, running this offense with precision, with a skeleton crew of weapons, and Brock didn't have great weapons either this year. The bottom line is that when you're seeing this, did Mac have a couple turnovers today? Yeah, one of them on him for sure. The other one, not on KB. Did he have multiple drops? Yes. If those drops are catches, this game is different. Absolutely. I just want 49ers fans to ask 49ers fans in the comments, and we'll see what is your call. Do you think the 49ers should be investing in trading future assets for aging veterans that might just kind of put you in a hamster wheel and maintain the status quo? And the status quo is a team that could be in the playoffs, but right now the injuries aren't looking good. And with Fred Warner being out, it just changes the whole ball game.
Yeah, it absolutely does. I want to talk about how boneheaded some of the veterans are on this team,
Absolutely.
though. It pissed me off, man. You got Jawan Jennings essentially taking 4 points off the board potentially.
Yep.
Gets a boneheaded 15-yard penalty for no reason. Trent Williams, after the interception, the second interception from Mac Jones, gets a 15-yard penalty. They end up in field goal range, but just, right there, that could be a 7-point swing potentially. And you say things like, oh, Jawan Jennings and Trent Williams, they got that dog in them. No, that dog was what Baker Mayfield did out there against Huff, getting hit in the backfield, running it for like 19 yards out of freaking nowhere. You go out and show it on the field. You don't get boneheaded penalties. That's not dog mentality. That's stupid, boneheaded plays that cost points potentially and make this game different. Jawan Jennings, by the way, was pissed off with Kyle Shanahan. They were getting into it at halftime, and all of a sudden, you get that penalty. Are they kicking us out? You get that penalty. Here, let's go up. You get that penalty after you're getting into it with your head coach, and it's just one of those things that it makes no sense. It makes no sense. And, we love Jawan Jennings. We love how he'll block people into the stands. But, David, it's absolutely asinine when you're getting boneheaded penalties. It doesn't make any sense. So these are things that, as veteran players, you're already playing with a skeleton crew of a team, a backup quarterback, and a bunch of backup players all over the place, and you got the best guys on your team being boneheads, getting 30 yards and penalties at 7 points potentially off of that. It just doesn't make any sense.
Well, I think I think that the idea though is that 30-19, it was an 8-point game. That 15-yard penalty set up an eventual 44-yard field goal. Right now, we don't know. The Bucs very well could have had some different plays run. You never know. Could have run some more clock off, made it difficult. But the bottom line is that 44-yard field goal. If that's a 59-yard field goal, it's different. It's woulda, coulda, shoulda. But this is the type of thing that our leaders do. And about a lot of things, I'm sorry that a lot of us have been concerned about. 49ers fans, I think, are mixed bag on it. But it's like, no, it's not. It's stupid. There's no reason. And Trent Williams does this all the time. Jawan Jennings does this all the time. Deommodore Lenoir does this all the time. This cannot happen. It can't.
One thing, too, I want to talk about is this offensive line play, right? Colton McKivitz looks like a turnstile at times.
Yes.
Cooney looks like a turnstile at times.
That's a great jersey.
And when you, great Ricky Watters jersey. But if Cooney and McKivitz are turnstiles, especially Cooney, you look at the future of this offensive line, and David, it just doesn't. You're going to have to revamp the whole thing, almost like you did the defensive line this offseason. The question is does Kyle have it in him to actually do something like that? Hey, Dave.
And here's the thing. Here's the thing with the offensive line. We have both said that the offensive line's played better this year than they've been given credit for. But we watched this game. We also have the benefit of not only watching it live from a great vantage point, but seeing the replay for every single play. Guys, Dominic Cooney was a turnstile. Colton McKivitz were several times where it's like he's just slow out of the stance. He's slow off the snap. It didn't even touch him. A couple of the sacks we're talking about play action passes where Mac turns around and there's a guy in his lap. And the only reason his shin was down on that play, I don't see our guy. I can't say who, but one of our guys had talked about us to try to put us on this. He said, listen, you guys need to realize Dominic Cooney did not play well at the end of last year, the second half of the season. I included was a little bit too high on him. I thought I got out of the gate. I liked him out of Kansas. Dominic Cooney was possibly the worst player on the field today. Colt McKivitz wasn't far behind. Jake Brindle, I don't know. I have to go back and watch the All-22. I'm going to go watch that tomorrow. As it stands right now, with Mac Jones' lack of mobility that Purdy definitely does offer more of. But what I think Mac does better is the timing and the arm strength. The bottom line is, at this rate, that oblique, that PCL, it's going to be going right back to it. I don't care how mobile Purdy is. He's going to be running for his life. And it's something that where I have to ask, is that going back to the well again, guys? This is a 4-2 team. The schedule is going to get more favorable by the end of the year. Absolutely. Guys, hopefully will come back healthier that were hurt before the season. But guys who are getting hurt right now are not. And let's disabuse ourselves of the idea that Fred Warner is going to be ready with a dislocated ankle, which could have a 12 to odd week recovery. And we don't even know what the ligament damage looks like.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing is the ligament damage for sure. But yeah, back to the offensive line. It just, again, every time I evaluate this team, it's not on 2025, it's 2026 and beyond. Yeah. And when I look at it, and I look at this offensive line going forward, if Trent retires this offseason, who can you fully rely on? Certainly Dominic Cooney is going to continue to start. McKivitz will continue to start. But if they're not good players, you got to replace the other three. Connor Colby, look, he's a rookie. I always give rookies grace. But we talked about it this offseason. You spend these late-round picks on these linemen, and it's like feeding saltine crackers to a fan base that are super hungry. And we're like, God, what is that, steak flavored? I mean, what is that? Is that a filet mignon? No, it's saltine crackers that you're giving us as undrafted guys and late-round picks, and then trying to sell us that these guys are the future of the offensive line. And by the way, you got people that are a part of this fan base out there doing the 49ers work for them. It's like, oh, God, you should have seen Connor Colby all offseason and all Drew Moss and who the hell ever else. How many times have we heard crappy late-round lineman, undrafted free agent is going to be the future of this offensive line at whatever position? Nick Sikel, I don't know, name it. You guys have seen it a million times. Stop falling for it, man. These guys are not good.
And let's talk about draft, because last year we know we had some good intel, but the Niners were incredibly high on Armand Membu. They had got Kelvin Banks, maybe even like a little bit of Will Campbell. That was a draft with pretty darn blue chip caliber players that I thought were getting really undersold. The board didn't fall the way they liked it. They weren't aggressive to try and move up and get one of those guys. Membu's really playing well right now. And now you're putting yourself in a position where you almost are forcing your hand on have to address that. And by the way, this is a 4-2 team, folks. Their schedule is going to get favorable, which is good. We would have won games. You want to try to get in the playoffs. But you're looking at a team that's going to be drafting right in the middle of the first round again, right? Maybe you're anywhere from 7-10 to 10-7, hopefully, right? But that's going to be the ceiling. And it's probably more realistic than 8-9, 9-8. And in that situation, who are you going to get? What are you going to do? But instead, you draft Nick Martin, who's 75th overall, third round. That's a middle of the third round. That's a great selection. He can't even see the field. He's a healthy scratch. We got Fred Warner out today, and we can't even get our third round linebacker out on the field. We got Jair Brown, who you traded up for, who's just laying people left and right, looking like looking like the bad news bears. We got Jake Moody. I don't even know where Jake Moody is right now. These draft mistakes are starting to catch up with them. And now you were forcing your hand to the position in 2026, where you might have to address a position that goes for need over quality and over pre. It's frustrating to see. And guys, Trent Williams, folks, 1 year max left. I think this is the last year. CMC guys, again, another 3.0 yards a carry. Yeah, guys, Mac Jones almost had more yards per carry today.
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy. You talked about Nick Martin, and I'll get there in a second. But first of all, I want to say go ahead and download the Sleeper app if you've not done so already. They're the great sponsor of Last Second Sports all year long. Right now, link is pinned to the top of the description there. If you download the Sleeper app and use promo code LSS, not only are you going to get a deposit match of up to $100, but you're also going to get a free $20. You don't even have to make a deposit. It's a free $20. Just try it out. If you like it, keep it, do whatever you want. But Sleeper, thank you for being a great sponsor all year long. Now let's talk about Nick Martin for just a second. Nick Martin might be a fine player, but my issue the whole time with Nick Martin was that he was overdrafted. And it is proof that you've got a third-round player in Nick Martin who has been a healthy scratch all year long. Now, you're about to see Nick Martin going forward, which is phenomenal. However, it's going to take a Fred Warner catastrophic injury to make it happen. What's happened?
We've got Fred Warner is out for the season.
Fred Warner done for the season. They just announced it, which is kind of what we thought. So basically, when you look at it, it took a catastrophic injury to your best player on defense in order for him to potentially see the field. And that doesn't, listen, he'll be dressed next week, but does he even play? That's the question.
And you know who else? You know who else had to suffer a catastrophic injury for everybody's favorite quarterback to see the field? Trey Lance, Jimmy Garoppolo. But yet Brock Purdy was supposed to be the best quarterback in camp. We've seen this happen before where Kyle, and I like Kyle a lot. And Kyle, honestly, called the hell of a game and put them in a position I thought to succeed. But very, very often plays players only when they're forced to. If Nick Martin comes out next week against Atlanta and even plays acceptably, I told Jesse this in the first quarter. Now, I'm not saying balls out. I'm saying just plays acceptable. There's going to be a lot of answering. There needs to be some questions that are coming from the beat room about that. Why are we needing to see Fred get his ankle rolled up on just to see our third-round guy play?
We can start walking, guys. All right, listen, it looks like we got a super chat here from Josh, which is really hard to see. Says, it's the line. No running back would run with this line. I don't know. I mean, you can say that, but you've got Brian Robinson, who has always been a 3-yard and a cloud of dust guy, and he's doing the exact same thing. So, listen, if CMC is 2023 CMC, and the offensive player of the year, the way that we were sold this offseason, he would at least be more effective than Brian Robinson. I do appreciate the super chat, but listen, I couldn't disagree more with that take. And like I said, Rachaad White would look identical to CMC in this offense, in my opinion, and he's a backup running back for the Bucs. So, you know,
we got another update.
What's the other update?
Jawan Jennings reporting that he has 5 broken ribs. That he played with 5 broken ribs. Now, why? My whole question with this is this: why is this not being reported on the injury report? Like, why are we just now from Matt Miyoko saying, yeah, I'm playing with 5 broken ribs, not sustaining 5 broken ribs? And if that's the case, guys, I don't know if you've ever had a broken rib before. It hurts like this is not easy to come back from, and it might explain why he's moving a little bit slow, because every time you breathe, move, laugh, sneeze, you know it. I mean, if that's the case, and these things get worse, you puncture a lung, you collapse a lung. Like, that happens with broken ribs. That's collateral damage. Right? Like, the hits just keep coming, Jess.
We suck again. Yeah, they definitely do. We'll see what it looks like next week. Listen, we're about to get into the crowd of everybody out here. It's about to be super loud. I really appreciate everybody for tapping in. I'll have a show tomorrow night with Coach, and we'll break all this down. It's a broken ankle.
Broken and
oh, okay. So real quick update: Fred Warner broken and dislocated ankle. That's about as bad as it could be. That's certainly.
Yet, so we don't even know the ligament.
Yeah, there could be ligament damage as well. Well, there's probably going to be ligament damage. Yeah, this could be catastrophic for Fred Warner going forward. So scratch what we said early on. It sounds like it's pretty bad. We'll see how it goes. Anyways, much love, y'all. I appreciate you for tapping in. I'll be back tomorrow. Peace.